What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Blak Cyber Podcast. I'm your host, George McPherson. Our guest today is a speaker, a cybersecurity professional, and a certification instructor. Everybody, welcome to the show, Chelsea Pierre.
Hey, how you doing? It's nice to have you.
Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome. It's a great time.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you actually took me up on my invitation to be on the podcast. I know you're going to be a wealth of knowledge to talk to the people today. Chelsea, let's get into the Blak Cyber origins. First of all, how did you get into technology jobs? And then how did you get into cybersecurity later on?
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. It's such a journey. So, I was prior Air Force, and honestly, I wanted nothing to do with tech.
Yeah.
But, when you join the military, you take the ASVAB, and they put you where you feel disqualified.
Oh, yeah.
And so they put me in a technical position. They scaled me up. And so when I got out, finished my degree in applied computer science, and I said, you know what? I kind of enjoy what I'm doing. And what made me want to pursue cyber was, it was one time I was working for Geek Squad. And so how Geek Squad is set up, anything that comes to your table, it comes to Geek Squad. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be as small as, say, replace my hard drive, to as big as, say, we have a ransomware. And at that time that I was working, ransomware became popular. We would have so many laptops. It would have all type of things saying, "Hey, pay here."
Now, sorry about that. What year was that? When ransomware was kind of?
That was probably 2013.
Yep. Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry about that.
No. It's fine. I look young, but I'm old. So I found viruses, and just trying to prevent them a very interesting idea, and I just wanted to learn more. Well, I left there, and I picked up a lot of system admin that turned to networking jobs. So I always wanted to get into cyber, but how the cyber field is set up, they initially want to hire you if you have experience. And so I applied. I've read books. I felt like I was knowledgeable to pass an interview. I would excel through interviews, but they say, "Hey, but have you touched this appliance? Have you touched this equipment?" I'm like, "Well, no." They're like, "Well, we want somebody with, X amount of years."
Gotcha. Well, let me ask you this. Could you explain like how to work on some of those devices? Had you did some home labs or?
Right. So what I did after getting tired of being discouraged and turned down, I said, you know what? Not only am I going to understand more about the vulnerabilities of today, I would read articles, I would study. I even have a book now for snort rules, which is definitely something that you should know. I would just prepare myself, and I would have a home lab. Like right now, GNS3, that's a popular one that you can have. You create a home lab. It has different, if you have the licenses. It's any network that you want to create. And if you can't afford the licenses, that's fine. You can contact the vendors. They would give you trial licenses, 30 days, 14 days, enough for you to say, "Hey, I have hands-on." I would attend conferences. I would, whatever I can do to say, "Hey, I may not have had that career title, but I understand the appliance. I understand what it's for. I understand what it does. I understand the mission that's behind it." So, and all I need is just more hands-on. And then I would challenge them. I would say, would you rather somebody who has touched this appliance and has about 2 years or whatever X amount of years just only working in this area of cyber, compared to me, where I know the back end, I know networking, I know system admin. If there is a penetration, I understand where it could have come. So where I was weak, not having been in a cyber position, I made myself strong in other areas that surrounds it. Because what I realized, a lot of people in cyber, that is all that they know. They don't have a full roundabout background. They don't know a lot in networking. And networking is a big thing. If somebody's cutting through your network outside of your appliance and saying, hey, there's an intrusion, you should know, hey, this interface connected this route, this to this, all the way down to, you should have a roundabout.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I used to challenge them on that one. So I finally broke through.
And I like that
So,
they identified, okay, you don't have the skill set, and you said, okay, let me go do the home lab.
Let me do the
start
home
figuring
lab.
things
Let me
out.
practice it. Yep,
And like you said, let me know it on a higher level. Let me know, not only know this piece of technology, let me know how that piece of technology works with another piece of technology. Like you said.
Right. And that's it. You have to, what you are able to do. You can receive a no, but what you are able to do as an individual, do it, perfect it, rebuild the path. So, because what not only recruiters or hiring managers, not only do they want somebody who is skilled, but they want somebody that can learn. Because if you know too much, then they will feel like you're overqualified for what they're going to pay you. And then, but that's a whole nother pay rate. That's a whole nother discussion.
That's a good problem to have, though. But we
that's a good problem.
There's ways to work around that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's a different route. But you cannot get discouraged when doors shut, because when doors shut, there are, just like in tech, there are back doors, that you can go through.
Yeah.
So, and I had to. It was a passion. That's what I wanted to do, and I was, I get it, and if I cannot touch, a source fire, or touch a Splunk, or touch any other appliance, a SolarWinds, or any other appliance out there, then let's say like source fire. That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
I did never touch the source fire before I got it, but I understood source fire. You need to know Linux. You need to know snort rules. You need to know Python. You need to know networking. You need to know network architecture.
Yeah.
So no.
Those are a lot of technologies.
Right. No, I have not touched it, but I have the skills to progress in it. So once I see the appliance, I could do the Linux command. I could do the Cisco commands because it has a Linux background, and Cisco bought it, so it has Cisco commands. I could do all of that because I know that much. You cannot say no.
Gotcha. That's a good point. Like you say, you learn all these individual technologies, like you said, the Python programming, the Linux operating system, learning how these networking tools work together. Like you said, you didn't know SourceFire, but you knew the back end technology. So
I knew the back end. I knew the back end. I studied what cyber does. I knew what an IDS was. I knew what an IPS was. I knew. I read articles. I went to conferences. I went to meetups. I knew the vulnerabilities that was going on today. I knew the vulnerabilities that was going to be going farther. Like, you cannot really tell me no. Like, how can you can hire somebody? Yes, this person has 5 years of source fire engineer.
Yeah.
But I'm stronger in Linux than what they are, and you have to know. Or I'm stronger in snort rules than what they are. You have to make yourself worth. Not only am I worth this position, but honestly, I'm worth this salary, and you are the only person that could do that. You know, and rebuttal that.
Oh yeah. Chelsea, talk about your current position. You talked a little bit about it, but describe your current position. Is it more of a security analyst position, or is it more of a back-end security engineer role?
So it's more of a back-end security engineer role. Gotcha. So typically there is somewhat of a difference. So with the cyber analysts, a lot of them are seeing and looking and recognizing things that.
And that's the side I work on day to day.
Right, they're doing more of the analyzing and trying to put things in place. Like, hey, we notice something is going wrong. You know, to where mine is more preventative. So if we have a STIG that comes down and says, hey, this is the new, whatever.
Gotcha.
Place it in there.
For people that don't know, that's related to threat intel, correct?
Correct. Right.
Gotcha.
Right. So if there's a new threat, we need you to go to your appliance and prevent that threat from coming.
Gotcha.
and then create some type of, and this is where Python comes in, create some type of tool that will recognize how many times not only this attack has happened, but where's the regions that it's coming from.
Gotcha.
So it's more, it's part detection, part preventative, because SourceFire has a firewall inclined in it as well. So
gotcha. Yeah, you got to have that analyst skill set, and that's why I work as an analyst. And like you said, you gotta, the engineer and the analyst have to work together. Like analysts may say, this is a false positive and this is not working right. Can you take a look at this? And you may look at a root and say, okay, I see why that's not working.
Right.
Or we've had this detection, and like you said, we're not seeing this threat. And you look up and you say, okay, this rule needs to be added so we can detect it. That's a great way to describe that. And I really want this podcast to kind of get into how to get into cybersecurity, but also how to get into different job roles. And I think it's good to understand how your role works.
And it starts with that. Like Tampa has a lot of meetup groups, and so a few of those meetup groups, a lot of students come in that's taking classes. I mean, universal level undergrad. They take a class that's trying to get a BS in cybersecurity. Yeah. And so as they are gaining their education and skills, they have questions. You know, I've been approached a lot by students saying, hey, you know, what do you do? Even those who are freshmen in the cyber, like, hey, how do you get into it? Is it possible after this degree? My college is promising that they're going to put me in a cyber role through internship or externship. It's going to be like.
Yeah, we know how those promises work.
Right. So, but that is a good point, because there's a lot of people that has ambitions of trying to be in cyber, but they don't know. And then of course companies are saying, well, no, turning you down. And I mean, that's a generalized question. How do I get in cyber? And then especially nowadays, we need more cyber professionals. So I think what you're doing is great to help people. And then even while they are in, where do you go from now? Because even within my LinkedIn, I have people, I try to mentor a few people. They ask me, hey, I'm thinking about cyber. What certifications do I need? Or do I need a CCNA before I get a CISSP? Or what path? Yeah. You know, and so I think if we could direct them, this is the first question that I always ask the people on LinkedIn that approaches me. Yeah. I ask them, what do you want to do in cyber?
Yeah, because that's the big question. That all depends. That's the answer. It all depends.
Correct. What do you want to do? And then that's when deer in headlights face hits. And
that's the scary question right there.
Right. And they're like, I don't know. What is it to do? So of course I try to go in deeper. I ask interest questions like, well, what do you like? Or, you know, what do you find fascinating? Or are you a people person? I try to dig in deeper and try to direct them the best I can.
Yeah, I like that. That's you kind of digging into, you're helping them, you're being like a consultant, helping them find their path. Yeah.
I keep telling myself not to, because if they feeling it, you know, people change and they get there. Well, never mind. I think I like this way. Oh, I can't stand that.
That's a different problem right there. Then you.
Right, but that is the biggest. As you do this broadcast and people come to you, how do I get into it? What do you know? What areas are in cyber? Gotcha. And what do you actually want to do? Do you like coding? You don't have to code. You know, a lot of people say code and color cyber. Like, do you like writing papers? Do you know what an IA is? Do you know what a pen tester is? Like, what do you really want to? Do you want to be the one stopping the traffic? Do you want to be the one just detecting it? Do you want to be the one saying, hey, I did this research? Do you want to be a manager? Do you not want to be a manager? Do you want to get to engineer? Do you want to be an architect? Like, what do you?
It's 1,000 possibilities.
This is so many. Like, what do you want to do? And so that typically takes people like 2 days.
Oh yeah. You ask them the tough questions, but that's good though. I love what you're doing, Chelsea, as far as being a mentor. Let me ask you, what made you want to do more in cybersecurity and network security, as far as just working in your role? What made you want to give back? Start speaking, start mentoring, start teaching as well?
Well, So I don't even know if I need to say shamefully now, but I never had a mentor. Typically people that are in the military, somebody will put them underneath their wing. Or that one mentor.
Yeah, I was in the Army and Air Force. Mentors are big in the military. You're right.
Right. I never had one. I reached out for some. Nobody made time for me. I always wanted somebody to say, hey, I see potential in you. Let me guide you. But I guess I wanted them lone gooses that's like, and God just put me aside, if you're spiritual, to say, no, you're going to do this yourself. So I never had a mentor in any of my endeavors. So it was places I was frustrated. It was many a times I bust my head. It was many a people I have reached out to and screamed, help me, or screamed, hey, I see you're doing this. I'm not really a shy person or reaching out. You could be a CEO of a company. If I see you a CEO and I want to be a CEO, hi, I want to be a CEO too.
Yeah, exactly.
I would reach out and say, help me. And nobody has time. It's a cold world out there. So it's a blessing for people who have guidance, because I didn't. So I told myself, I said, you know what, if I'm like that, and I'm 32 now, and I was all in my 20s and teens, somebody help me, and I'm like, well, maybe there are other people who feels the same, and maybe I can reach them, and they might not make the same mistakes, or they might not, have to go through the route, or they might not cry themselves to sleep. Why everybody around me have mentor and help and I can't? Why do I have to go the long route? So I'm pretty sure I cannot be the only person that have lived through that. So I want to be that one mentor to the person who cannot find one. So I says, you know what? Let me give back. I'm very compassionate. I said, let me give back. And then plus, outside of that, I mean, just on a business standpoint, it is so much money in tech. Why narrow yourself to one thing? If you're a good technician and you're able to speak, reach to people. Once you feel like you have made it to a certain point, bring the next people up. And I think people fear, if I stop what I'm doing, trying to bring the next person up, I won't excel. You will excel. Just bring more people up. So I say, you know what? Let me reach out, because especially I'm an instructor for Pluralsight and Cyber. I create some of their certification videos. Pluralsight right now, I'm working on the F5 load balancer, right?
Gotcha.
Certification. So for the ASM. So I remember having to self-study and watching long, drawn out, videos
Painful.
of ones and zeros, blah, and I'd be like, oh my God, kill me. So I'm like, I know I cannot be the only one that's sick of it. So I like to teach. Let me create some videos to amp it up for people like me. Speaking, when people speak, some speakers are very frantic about what they say, and they try to cover up. It's okay to have proof about things that you say and how you project it, but then at the same time, do not fluff so much that you're hiding the truth. So I would like to get up there and speak and tell real experiences, real circumstances, real things that I had to go through to touch real people. Because people are like, okay, well, they'll look like, I've went to conferences and I looked at some of these speakers who are like, okay, well, you're a multimillionaire. So, but your parents been a multimillionaire. You've been a multimillionaire all your life. Things like you cannot relate to me, So if I come up there and say, hey, I'm broke, you broke, but check this out, we ain't got to be broke forever. It's
exactly.
More, it could be more relatable. So I would never forget the young tech that I used to be. Because there are other young techs, and I just want to reach out to them and say, it's okay. This is why I made my mistake. This is what worked. Try that.
Gotcha. Good points, Chelsea. I know you said you had a young lady that you talked to at one of the conferences a while back. Can you go into that?
I can. So, like I said, Tampa has a lot of tech conferences, meetups, and one of their tech networking events that they have is Tech Fest. in Tech Fest, it's very popular. If you're in tech, then you could be a student, you could be a professional, you could have inspirations. You just come to it. It's a big ass networking event. It's wherever restaurant or wherever they try to put it at. Free food, free drinks.
Oh yeah.
And you just meeting different people, you know.
Oh yeah.
And there was a young lady, and she was probably older than me, but nonetheless, it was a lady. She was.
We'll call her young lady.
Right. But she was a woman of color. And so typically when I go to those events, I'm typically maybe one of the only females, or sometimes the only Black person if they have other male technicians.
Yeah.
But where is scarcity?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like 15% of women make up the STEM professional careers, you know, so where's scarcity? But nonetheless, so she came to me. And so she was like, hey, how you doing? We introduced ourselves. She was like, are you a student, professional? I'm like, I'm a professional. Please do not send me back to college. I'm a professional. I'm not ready yet, you know? And so she says, okay. She looks around. Like I said, we had a lot of males. And she was like, I'm pretty sure you're the only woman in your department. How do you do it? You're coming in here with authority. You're smiling. You're talking like, how do you, I could tell something. How do you do it? Yeah. And so me, just how I am. I'm like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Because I like to go in more depth with the question. Because my answer will be in depth. And basically, the question was, how are you able to work in a department with all men that are not used to seeing women engineers or technicians? And I said, and I told her, I said, it is hard, because it is hard. It is, I mean, every experience may be different for every woman, but majority of the women feel the same way. It is hard. You're in a career field that males feel like they're dominant. And so especially when a male is not, I typically, some departments, tech departments I worked in, I have been the first female to work in there. Oh, yeah. Or I have been the only Black woman or Black person in general working in it. And it's hard because they'll see you, and what they'll do is give you the grunt work. They'll give you, hey, file the papers, hey, make the spreadsheets, hey, look up the serial numbers, organize these cables. They would give you domestic chores, I would call it, to do. And it's like, hey, buddy, I passed this technical interview the same way you did. But it's hard. So what I told her, I said, it is hard, but stay strong. I said, times are changing, but it's hard. I said, if they're not, because her thing was she wanted to learn. She was in, I think she was a programmer. She was a software engineer. Okay. Programming. But she was a software engineer. And she said, hey, I got hired. I want to build up my skills. I want to grow. I want to excel, but they're not giving me the opportunity. All the males is doing everything. They're not allowing me to grow. And I'm like, if they want to allow you to grow, fine. Do not get too discouraged. While they're doing everything and giving you nothing, go online, study. I said, get your next cert. While for your 8 hours there, they're not giving nothing, study, get your next certification, build up some skills, look up some stuff, get certifications on them. And when you feel like you are skilled enough, leave. And find somebody that feels like they find a job that will respect you as the engineer that you are.
Exactly. I think, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. And so she just looked at me and she was like, I didn't think about that. I said, I understand. I've been in that place before. And what I did, I studied. Yeah. I studied. I was in one time, I got my whole CCNA cyber ops. Oh, yeah. In both tests. That's
exactly
tests.
Two parts.
How much, right. That's how much they did not want to give me anything because I was a woman. And when I got that, and I got my Juniper, the foundation, the first one. I got those three, and I left. Oh, yeah. I left, and I got more money. I got a better position. So that's what I told her, and I guess it relieved her to know that she wasn't the only woman to admit it or to say it. And there is a way to, just back in another way of just excelling.
Gotcha. Nothing can stop the power of the grind. That's what I say. Like I said, there'll be less, like you say, that stuff does get to you. It's hard. I've been in some of those same situations, obviously on a different viewpoint. But my thing is be less emotional and be more strategic. Like you said, what can you handle? What can you determine? Like you said, you can determine whether you pass a certification. You go in your room, you start putting in the work, and you show up. Yeah.
Other than HR, you cannot change their way of being biased.
Yeah.
I mean, it even goes down to the salary. Like in 2020, they say women average 75K to men that average 92 or over. You know, and we still trying to fight for equal pay. You know, I mean, it's the statistics are out there. Like 57% of women are in workforce jobs, and only 25 make computing and tech industries. And then the statistic that blew my mind, one of them was that 25% of women that hold science and engineer degrees are not working. They're not working. Yeah, you know, compared to the 10% of men that hold the same degrees that's not working. So it's bizarre. But I mean, outside of the negativity, they have been movements. They have been, I mean, people, we all have gotten together. People have gotten together. There's different organizations like Girls Who Code, Girl Develop IT, you know, Black Girls Codes, Ladies Learning Code, STEMIS Project, Women in Cybersecurity, Whiskers, I think that's what they call it. If I said it wrong, I apologize. But we have been making moves to, hey, it doesn't matter our gender. Exactly. We could do tech too, because I mean, I think I heard back in the 60s, or it could have been later, don't quote me with history, but I know women came into tech and all they had was women that coded. They just wanted women to code because we notice things, we're more, just how we are.
More detail oriented.
We are detail more, you know, oriented, until men was like, hey, no, trying to get back in the houses. Yeah. So, I mean, times are changing, but it's still, we cannot deny that it's still diversity, you know, just from being a woman and then just from being Black. We're still struggling, you know, to make things meet. You know, there's only 1% of Black startups from men, you know, and less of that is Black startups and within tech from women. So that's the numbers are out there and it's not right. But I mean, things that you're doing here, things that's happening, like in Huntsville, Alabama, there's a 2020 Vision Future Tech Conference, and there's a lot of students that's in STEM programs that's going to join that conference. I'm actually speaking at that conference as well, and we're just hounding, like, you know, the next generation coming up, we could grow these numbers. Oh yeah. You know, I applaud when I see Black men doing networking. I applaud even most when I see Black women in networking, because I remember working at certain companies that you did not see a Black person in networking at all. They would make them a system admin or help desk, you know, and it's like, hey, we can network too. That's, you know, it's changing, but it's still out there to be talked about, to continue pushing this movement for fairness. Oh yeah. So Chelsea, it's time for me to ask probably one of the most critical and groundbreaking questions of the show. Sure. What's your favorite hip hop song? Now you got two choices. You can give me your favorite hip hop song right now, or you can say wrong genre. You know, does it have to be in this time period? No, it doesn't. What you got? You know. No pressure. Know, like I got to take it back to. And I got a lot of them. So I know that's a hard question. You know, I am still part of the Nuck of You Buck generation. So yeah. So, you know, that will always be a classic. Those, you know, that down south crunk music. Yeah, all the crunk music. You can never ever everything that would easily put you in a fight in a bar, but it was played constantly. So yeah, sometimes those songs get you in trouble. Yeah. Right. Yeah, but I remember them days. Yep. Yeah, so I haven't moved past that time yet. Chelsea, I'm gonna go ahead and roll out the black carpet for you. And I know you mentioned some things you're working on. Just think about some things you really want to get out there right now on what you got coming up, and some of your social media that we can reach you at. Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. It's my first name, last name, Chelsea Pierre. I'm on Facebook as well. Those are initially my only two. social medias because I'm barely on it. So I'm on LinkedIn more than anything because that is a sound networking platform. I also, again, like what I said, I create certification contents for Pluralsight and Cybery, and I'm actually going to add ITEL version 4 on Udemy. I'm working on that one as well. I am, like I said, coming up, they have Division 2020 in Huntsville. The Future of Tech Conference is going to be in June. So if you're in Huntsville in Alabama, come see me speak. And I'm gonna be speaking at the Blak Tech Conference, and it's gonna be actually in New York.
And that was in New York. Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna it was supposed to, well, that's gonna be in New York, and that's gonna be postponed because of the coronavirus. And so as soon as I realize the next time, Susie updates me on when it's going to start, then of course I'm gonna flag that throughout the social media. If you want to email me, if you're one of those ones, I don't like social media and all that other stuff like how I used to be, you can send me an email. It's my first name, last name. You can do 0@gmail.com. Right now, I'm trying to create a business, a training actual environment, my own business. So as soon as that launches, then I would definitely let y'all know. And it's going to be a good thing because I see a lot of issues within trying to get training, trying to get certifications, the prices, the expenses, how much it is for licensing. So I'm coming up with a solution to help everybody out so they can get as skilled as possible, as inexpensive as possible. And I mean, it's going to change the culture of tech by the time I get done, because some things that you're going through, that you're dealing with, that you feel like, why do I have to deal with? It doesn't have to stay like that. It takes one person to change that. Just like with Tesla, somebody said, why do we have to still have gas? It just takes one person to make a movement. So y'all gonna hear from me some more towards the end of this year, coming into next year. So that's what I'm doing. I'm working hard. Again, I'm gonna try to start the chapter here in Tampa, Blak Tech chapter, and just we're gonna get better. We're moving positive, but we're gonna accelerate a little bit faster. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you, Chelsea, for being on the show. You dropped some good knowledge. Definitely had some good talking points, getting the conversation started. And you put out some good groups that are working on some good things. I thank you for being on the show today.
All right. Thank you so much for inviting me.
All right. Thank you, Chelsea.